Here we are. Ride out with the boys. That was a close one. Pulling out of a blind corner like that. In front of me we have Roger the Dodger, ex-policeman, and his Triumph Speed Triple. First of all, we had some good biking trips together. Been to Scotland and Wales, and yeah, it's good. We'll get on really well. Let's go beyond motorcycling. You know, that's the thing that brings you together. But as I was saying earlier, that you go beyond that common interest, and then you start to unfold the details of your lives to each other, and you become friends. You know, it's a precious thing. It's a precious thing. And even people that you don't necessarily get on with, you know, that you find quite challenging, you know, eventually you can see behind their shortcomings, and you sort of see in a way that they've become, you know, that their lifestyle is obviously shaped them. The things that happen to them have shaped them, and they become a product of that. You know, as we all are. Our environment, our upbringing, our history, it all makes us what we are. And a lot of people struggle in trying to undo the programming. But you know, you can see behind that, you can see behind it, and you can see the human being and the suffering actually behind that. It's quite and once you can do that, you can love them. Anyway, so there we have a little bit of philosophy for the day. I could talk about the latest Vipassana retreat that I just done. It was a 10-day Vipassana course. It's my third. Really the most, I don't know how you can compare it with anything. It's amazing. The first one was amazing, the second one was tough, but okay. The third one was just literally mind-blowing. The stuff that came up, the clarity that I experienced through getting rid of a lot of my crap was incredible. You can't describe it. You can, you know, I could intellectualise about my experience, and you may understand to a degree, but the only way to really know about the process and about what you can experience is by experience itself. You know, it's so basically it was a 10-day silent, well, it's 12 days in all. So day one you arrive, you get orientated. By the evening we start the noble silence. There's no talking, you avoid eye contact, there's no gestures, quite well, very strict, in as much as you're not allowed to bring mobile phones in, no books, no writing materials, no drawing materials, nothing. They look after you, they feed you, you get a room to sleep in, it's clean and tidy. And then they teach you a technique. The first technique they teach you is what they call anapana, which is basically watching the breath. But it's very focused, so it's watching the breath as it enters and leaves the nostrils. Eyes are closed in the meditation. And you just focus on this area, and within less than a minute your mind has wandered off, and you gently bring her back again. Bring your attention back to the breath, the area just below your nose, the air coming in and out of your nose. And I suppose it could be termed as mind-numbingly boring, but it is a technique which is used to sharpen the mind, to develop the concentration. So I didn't find it progressive, to be honest. Like, sometimes I could have at the beginning my mind was like, first 3 days my mind was like wild horses. It was a mess. And slowly but surely, I guess, the concentration grew. I was able to hold my attention for longer and longer periods, but it wasn't linear. You know, sometimes you'd have a good sitting where your mind was quite concentrated and you could hold your attention on the breath, and other times chaos would ensue. The mind just did what it wanted. But I've learned over the years that, because I've been meditating for a few years properly, that you don't want to get in a fight with your ego. It likes a good fight, so the mind wants to take off, just allow it to gently, when it's calmed down, you bring it back. And that way I find that concentration just tends to come naturally. After 3 days of what they call Anapana, we start the actual Vipassana technique, which is basically body scans. So with the Anapana, when you concentrate on the area below the nostrils, you notice quite a lot of sensation there, actually, because the mind has become quite sharp, less gross. You're able to pick up the sensitivities in the skin, and basically you start observing what's happening to your body on a submolecular level. You become very sensitive, and then you apply that technique to the Vipassana technique, which is the body scanning, and you end up seeing lots of sensation everywhere. I know I'm going to have to stop now. I think we're just lost, so I'll just continue talking. So then you start applying this to body scanning, and you come across areas that are numb or blind or smoky, have no sensation, and basically the idea is to hold your attention on those areas. And then what you're doing, so not always, sometimes things just pop up, like a memory from your childhood, or you might meet a resistance. And then because the mind becomes so concentrated, when you're not in meditation and you have free time, the mind just sort of goes on one. So like something might come up, a childhood memory that I hadn't thought of in years. And then the idea is to observe it with a balanced or equanimous mind, and then when something comes up and you feel emotional, we tend to hold on to it with the emotion. But if you look at things equanimously when they arise, just see it as a phenomena without being attached to it, and you allow it to pass, more and more stuff comes to the surface, and there's a sort of sense of release with it. So basically the technique really, or the whole process, is about doing an operation on your own mind to get rid of all the garbage that has been blocking you and creating so much unhappiness. Because the idea is that when we have an experience that if we ignore it or push it down, that it seems to have gone away, but it hasn't. It is still in the mind. So the idea is that we can release it with equanimity, that we're freer, we become freer. That is basically the process of Vipassana, and at the end of the period of 10 days I had so much clarity, and because so much stuff had been dealt with and got rid of, I could just see things so much more clearly, and you can see the patterns that dictate people's lives and make them so unhappy. I wouldn't say that I'm enlightened, but I think enlightenment is a process rather than a destination. And I think I'm a lot more balanced now and a lot more equanimous and less reactive to what happens to me in my life, which has got to be of some benefit, hasn't it, really? Anyway, that's a short bit about my Vipassana retreat. I thoroughly recommend it. It's totally non-religious. It's not about religion. It's not secular. It's scientific. It's a process of dealing with and healing your own traumas. You know, you could be a Christian and do Vipassana. You could be a Jew and do Vipassana. You could be a Sikh, a Muslim, atheist. It would not matter. It's all about universal truth rather than a secular truth or Christian truth or Buddhist truth. Or it's very healthy and very liberated, the whole process. So I would say recommend it. And I'm going to be honest with you, it's not the easiest thing I've ever done. It's tough. You sit for 10 hours plus a day meditating, you feel lots of pain in your body, you feel lots of trauma, having to look at your own mind. There is no escape. There is no escape looking at the shit in your own head. So in the end, there's only one way to go, and that is to use the technique to begin to purify your mind through the technique. Because an untamed mind, an unruly mind, it creates so much unhappiness, it creates so much pain and suffering in our lives. So the idea is not to dominate the mind or suppress it, it's to just train it, and it then becomes an ally. There's a book called that, Making the Mind an Ally, by Sakon Rinpoche. Would I recommend it? Yes, I would. Don't expect an easy ride, but it is transformative. It can transform and change your life for the better. Since I've been on this path, the people I've loved have noticed a change in me. I've been happier, and as a result they've also been happier, you know, and well, you can't fault that, can you? You know, it starts with yourself. You can't have an outward change only, because it would be false, and it would eventually collapse back in to, you know, to the trauma and stuff that has manifested in your mind and in your life, and then that just spreads outwards. We pollute the world, and as we become healed, we have more love, more compassion for ourselves. That naturally gravitates out into our environment, into our world, and others can only benefit. So the process really is about self-purification, self-liberation, and as a secondary result, the world, the environment, the people that you love benefit. I'm not at the end, I'm on the path. Anyway, I think that'll do for a minute. Hopefully we're still recording. Yay! Let's enjoy this beautiful day. Look at it, we're in spring! The beech trees are out in leaf, the leaf is all soft and beautiful, there are flowers. In a lot of places, but not here, it's quite green. But I love this time of year. Let's not get attached to it though, eh? Everything is in a state of flux, a state of change. And that is part of the teaching, is that whatever we encounter, realise its temporariness. So when we encounter hardship and pain and suffering, just look at it with the equanimity and know that it will pass, that everything is changing. Anita they call it. And the same with good things in our lives. When good things come along, enjoy it, that's fine. Appreciate it, that's fine, but that's not get attached to it. And that's one of the things that causes suffering as well. Attachment to things that bring us happiness. And the opposite is also true, is rejection or pushing away the things that we dislike, which also causes more pain. And you realise that within the technique. So you're sitting still and experiencing pain. The mind wants to stop that pain. You want to stop that pain. So you try to push it away. And by pushing it away, you create tension, which creates more pain. So we exacerbate the whole thing. Oh, it's so amazing. I'd recommend it so much. Do a Vipassana course. You will not regret it. It's 10 days of your life that would be so well spent. Anyway, love to you all. Happy days. Bye for now.